Race number 5 at Ascot. It is Perth. Race number 9 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1100 metres, and for mine, this is the race of the day. A little bit disappointing to see that Rees Rocket has been scratched. A late scratching there at number 2, Rees Rocket, but still plenty of class in this race. So Forbidden Planet showed a lot last campaign. Scales of Justice has got the closest outside of Delicacy to Perfect Reflection. So looking forward to seeing how this horse returns. And also Putri Jewel has run some really good races in the past as well. And Hidden Grace showed a bit last start. So certainly exciting. There'll be fireworks over the 1100 metres. But the replay that we are going to take a look at, as I said, the last time we saw this galloper, it was very impressive. It was at Belmont over the 1200 metres. Set to sail for home pretty early. And it took a very nice type in Perfect Reflection to run him down. So let's take a look at that performance now.
3 and 4 deep at the top of the straight. Annie's Luck peeling to the outside as well. Here comes Scales of Justice. Further back is Perfect Reflection, but War Blossom with a handy lead. 200 left to go. War Blossom by 2 lengths. Annie's Luck, Scales of Justice, Perfect Reflection are starting to gun it down. War Blossom in front. Perfect Reflection mowing it down on the outside. It's going home brilliantly.
It was a brilliant run by Scales of Justice, just losing by a long neck. Barrier 4, the 55 kilos here. Carried the 59 on that occasion. So dropping the 4 kilos is a huge positive. We all know what Perfect Reflection has gone on to do since. So if this horse is ready to go, and you say it is with no trial. Lindsay Smith's very smart with the way that he places his animals. Paul Harvey taking the ride. I think Scales of Justice is certainly the horse to beat. Outside of that, I thought Diamond Tanika trialled well. Jared Noski takes a ride from Barrier 2, the 57 kilos. Forbidden Planet is another horse that Paul Harvey has ridden out to victory in the past as well. Last campaign, a winner at Northern, then a winner at Belmont as well before going out for a spell. Trialled well, beaten 2.5 lengths by Jez Park. Pachuri Jewel, as I mentioned, this horse will have a bit of speed in the race as well. The form lines behind Universal Law, Celebrity Dream, Lighten in My Veins as well. All very strong Group 3 and listed races there as well. From Barrier 7, this horse can cross lead, and the drop back to 1100 metres is a big positive. They will not want to give Putri Jewel an easy time out in front. Number 10, Hidden Grace, I mentioned as well, has been racing really well. Was only beaten a half length by Rocket Queen last start from Barrier 10. Drawn much nicer in Barrier 6, and the tongue tie goes on as well. So I'm expecting improvement from Hidden Grace. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going with number 6, Scales of Justice. From number 5, Putri Jewel. Number 3, Forbidden Planet. And number 7, the Blue Nipper, which raced well last start, finishing second behind Vega Magic. Race number 6 at Ascot. It's Perth race number 10 for our Singapore viewers. And again, this is a Saturday class field in front of us. Some impressive runners. The likes of Mr. Motown, Calabria Joe, Trey and Michi, Auntie Zelma, Express Dancer, Spiritual Eyes, all very good horses. And of course, the one that we saw finish second first up, number 4, Heavy Set. It's a really good performance. This was on a Saturday as well on a heavy track, crossed from Barrier 12 and just lost by a short half head. And that is a replay that we're...
Right on the inside, second last to go through and hit the lead. And he now angles towards the middle of the track. Cuanzo battling, Folds Bet, Distant Memory. Heavy Set down the outside, coming with a run. Then Corporate Larrikin, Distant Memory has gone to the lead. Here comes Heavy Set gunning it down. Distant Memory and Heavy Set will fight it out. It's Distant Memory driving Heavy Set. I think
the horse always runs well fresh, and we saw that continue his good first up record. He's had 5 attempts first up and never finished any worse than third. Hasn't won, but second and third from those 5 occasions. So a very good first up record, as I mentioned. Has won second up as well. So a positive there for Heavy Set. Drawn nicely in Barrier 7 compared to Barrier 12. So expecting another good performance there by Joey Miller's 8-year-old gelding. Outside of those, the Dankster was a very good last campaign. Just a little bit worried about the 1,000 metres. Has never raced at the distance. Normally looks for that 12 or 1,300 metres. That's where the better form has come. So just think it needs a little bit longer there. Folds Bet, the bar plates go on here. It's a little bit of a worry, but Aaron Mitchell does take the ride. So just the 55 kilos from Barrier 3. You have a look at the starter before the previous one. Finished third, only a length and a half behind Shy Del. Then form lines around Hobart Jones as well. So Folds Bet certainly can't be ignored from Barrier 3. I'm really looking forward to the return of number 6, Calabria Joe. Justin Warwick trained. Lucy Warwick takes the ride. We haven't seen this galloper race since the 1st of August, and coming in fresh here. The horse has placed first up before. The victory when it won over 1,000 metres at Belmont on the 11th of July was one of the better runs I've seen. It does normally like a little bit of give in the track, but Calabria Joe is ready to go, and you'd suggest that without the trial. I think this horse has certainly got the speed and the class to win this race as well. Mr. Motown was really good last campaign, winning 2 out of its last 4, one at Belmont and one at Kalgoorlie as well. Trey Michi's been racing well with a 3rd and a 4th in its last 2 starts at this track as well. And then the one that I think will really improve, and I've got it on top here, is number 12, Spiritual Eyes. Carries just the 52 kilos. Now, last start was only beaten the length by Volkov with the 56.5 from Barrier 13. Went back on that occasion and showed a nice turn of foot, but with the 52 kilos, I know they're drawn wide again here, but I suggest that they may want to cross, and the lightweight, I think that she is going to be very hard to beat, especially over the 1,000 metres. So I'm very keen with her. I'm putting her on top at number 12, Spiritual Eyes. From a number 6, Calabria Joe, number 5, Fool's Bet, and number 4, Heavy Set. But certainly plenty of chances in this leg of the quaddie. Race number 6, Perth, race number 10 for our Singapore viewers. Race number 7, it is Australia, race number 11 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 2,200 metres, and of course it is the listed event, the ATA Stakes over the 2,200 metres. Looking forward to this. There's a fair bit of class in the race as well. Respondent, Rebel Sun, we also saw Fulga run a nice race last start. Dust Me Off won a listed race. Its second ever career victory, and it was that listed race. That was from 17 starts. But Damajo's been in really good form. Don't Get Caught drops in a little bit of weight here as well. Neverland, we don't need to say too much about her. Properanti stepped up to the distance last start and was a winner as well. So the list goes on with the class. A very good race indeed. And the replay that we're going to take a look at, I mentioned just before there, Properanti's stepped up to the 2,200 metres for the first time, was too strong to the line, winning by a length, and we'll take a look at that run now.
Floundering in the straight. Properante's coming after, Sacks on, Sacks off. Verdello Blue, Carney is coming down the outside now with a good run as well. It's Properante's just in front though. Sacks on, Sacks off, but class is going to prevail here. Properante's drew clear, but Damajo comes to second, but Properante's wins it well.
It was a really good performance there by Properanti. He's just cruising through a run and then showed that nice turn of foot. Now, I guess a small concern with barrier 11, but this horse has got a lot of class, and if they can get a nice sit with a little bit of speed in the race, I think they've got the turn of foot to be able to certainly run in the top 3 in this race. One of the runners that just finished behind there was Badamajo. You would have seen running into second place on that occasion. Didn't have much clear running at all, and drops now from the 58 to the 55 kilos. Drawn nicely in barrier 6, so should be in a really nice position throughout the run as well. And I think Badamajo can certainly run a race in that with that Properanti's form lines, and of course a win at the start before, so is racing very well as well, the 8-year-old mare. Outside of those, Neverland, as I mentioned, has certainly been in very good form. It won 3 in a row before going to the Group 1 Kingston Town. Douglas White took the ride when it was a heavy track, was 11th around the bend, ran into 4th, 5 lengths behind Perfect Reflection. It was a very good performance. William Pite takes the ride, barrier 13 with the 55 kilos. They'll be forced to go back again, but her turn of foot is very impressive, and I think she'll be able to match it with this company and certainly be very hard to beat. I'm also expecting the other Cerise and White runner, Respondent, to run a bit of a race here. Carries at 59 kilos, but drawn nicely in barrier 5. Glenn Smith takes a ride. It was a good run last start in the Group 3 scale, only 2 lengths behind Waterman's Bay. That was over the 1,400 metres, so it is a bit of a step up, but I think Respondent is certainly one at a bit of an each-way price that can run a race here and maybe surprise a few as well. It's been 620 days since its last victory, but I just think this race day is certainly going to suit, and it's got the class. Outside of those, I don't mind number 8, Don't Get Caught as well. Drops to the 55 kilos for Ben Pearce. Jerry Noski takes the ride. Lost 2 lengths at the start and was only beaten under a length by Savannah Roller. Now, the rail's a big positive. This horse can just follow it. He likes to do a few things wrong down the straight as well. So as long as there's daylight, I think Don't Get Caught can certainly run a bit of a race with just those 55 kilos, dropping from the 58.5 last start as well. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going with number 10, Neverland. From number 12, Properanti's, number 1, Respondent, and number 6, Badamajo. Final race of the day at Ascot, it is Perth, race number 12 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,400 metres, and again, like a lot of the races, we've got a fair bit of class in this race and a couple in some really good form. Reflectance has been attacking the line strongly. Muskers of Dawn showed a little bit first up as well. Moment of Love has been in good form. Danehill Matilda, a last start winner, and Hopetown was a winner 2 starts ago and finished second last start as well. So there are some animals coming into this race are certainly racing well. The replay that we're going to take a look at is number 2, Reflectance. A really good performance at last start, just beaten under a length by Smooth Flirt, but attacked the line strongly. Is going to need a similar performance again with the way that it's drawn. So let's take a look at the closing stages of that race now.
Duke of Cornwall, Zoe Tom Taylor tried to squeeze her way through. Further out was Just Harley. Reflectance deeper on the course was Smooth Flirt. Virtual Trader just behind them as Sleepy Striker had gone up now. Nullakai down towards the inside, getting away through. Grandstand finish coming up. Reflectance from well back and Smooth Flirt from last. Smooth Flirt has gathered them in and got up.
Really good performance there by Reflectance. The form lines have been strong this campaign, beaten ahead by Gold by under 3 lengths by Lenience. And then that run there behind Smooth Flirt, as I mentioned, attacking the line strongly. Now drawn in barrier 15, which isn't ideal at all. This horse is going to have to do some work. But Aaron Mitchell takes a ride, so just the 58 kilos. Faux Shizzle first up. Clint Johnson Porter takes the ride, so just the 56.5 kilos. He's been first up on 3 occasions for 2 seconds. Of course, this horse finished second in the listed Belmont Oaks behind Cosmic Storm, which has been racing very well. And as I mentioned, with a bit of time off, this horse normally runs well fresh. Barracky Beats won 2 of its past 3. It won 2 in a row at Belmont in pretty good form as well. Carries at 59 kilos, which is a little bit of a concern there, but has been racing well. Number 7, Muskets of Dawn. This horse has been second up on 2 occasions for 2 seconds. Barrier 13, a little bit of concern here, but attacked the line strongly last up, beaten 3 lengths by Wicked Hunter, and I think they'll be forced to go back again, and we may see that turn of foot to play a part in this. Number 9, Moment of Love. Well, it was beaten by its stablemate Flying Image last up by a length and a half. It drawn well in barrier 9 with the 57.5 kilos. I think this horse can just position up nicely midfield and certainly run on strongly. Has a good track and distance record as well. And number 12, Danehill Matilda, raced well at Geraldton last start. A winner attacking the line strongly, was 9th around the bend to end up winning that. Beat Shed Talk, which ran a place in its next run as well at Geraldton. So the form line's holding up there. The last 2 runners that we'll take a look at, I think, can certainly play a part in this race as well. Number 13, 0 to 60, carries just the 52.5 kilos from barrier 5. Now, it's had 17 attempts at the track and distance and only placed on 3 occasions, but I think this is the best chance this horse is going to get to win over the 1,400 metres at Ascot. There's a lot of positives, meeting even its stablemate better in the weights as well, significantly for only a little bit of a difference in margins in previous runs as well. So I think 0 to 60 can run a race. And Hopetown as well as a horse I have a lot of time for. It was a really good win at Ascot, first up over the 1,200 metres. Attacked the line strongly to just be beaten by Festive Excess last start. And we'll be able to see how Festive Excess races earlier on the day as well. Drawn nicely in barrier 2, 55 kilos. Jason Brown is in great form as well, and the step up to 1,400 metres looks ideal. So let's take a look at the selections for the final race of the day. I'm going with number 13, 0 to 60 at each way odds. From number 2, Reflectance, number 7, Muskets at Dawn, and number 9, Moment of Love. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of Box Seat, so it's time now to take a look at the best bets. And I'm going with race 5, number 6, Scales of Justice. Comes into this race without a trial, but as we saw earlier, that run behind Perfect Reflection was very impressive, and I think it'll be very hard to beat. Race 5, number 6, Scales of Justice, and also race 6, number 12 here, Spiritual Eyes. I think with a lightweight, she is going to be very hard to beat as well. As we always say, make sure you do follow us on social media at Perth Racing on Twitter and also Instagram. You can have a look at our Facebook page. Visit perthracing.com.au for event information. The Perth Cup coming up on January 2 as well. And on behalf of all of us at Perth Racing, Merry Christmas. We'll be back again with another edition of Box Seat for the Perth Cup.